Woke is back, baby.
We're in the dark, because we're in a dark zone. A very scary, evil, and mysterious. Okay, so I made a video on this already, but I deleted it because it was incoherent rambling for 13 minutes when I could concise it much more. And also, I just don't think I got my point across very well. So, as already established in the Varying Enthusiasts extended cinematic universe, I'm a pearl-clutching prude, and I don't really like... I don't like the horny, where it's just... I don't like it. You do you, but I don't really like it that much. I certainly don't like it when, it is just it's put in places where it shouldn't be. And in my personal opinion, these are a bunch of things I forgot to clarify in my previous attempt at this, hence why I had taken it down and redoing it. This is all my opinion. Okay? If you like, or if you disagree with me, I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm sorry about the comments lost with the video. Big blunder on my part, big whoopsie, crucify me, hang me up on the cross. Okay? Because I always welcome criticism and feedback, because it just means I can grow and change as a person. So yeah, silly me. Anyways, as the title says, I do not think the sexual fan service and progressiveness and inclusivity and all that, I don't think they go together. At least not very well. I think it's quite counterintuitive, counterproductive. One very much goes against the other, and I'm going to explain simply, because I've got my notes up here. I'm not going to be talking in circles for 13 minutes. Simply put, progressiveness. You're trying to highlight oppressed members of society, certain minorities, or certain underrepresented groups of people, or just people that have had it rough in history. And that's great. I love that. What I think goes against that, though, is when you sexualize the people that you put into that position in media, because you're including them in these places, you're putting them in the spotlight in order to like fucking to put eyes on them, all right? Like, whoa, let's take the easiest example, say a female protagonist. Whoa, look, we got using this suit. Alright, we got our female protagonist here. Whoa, that's so cool. She can do everything. She's so awesome, and she's a woman, and that's completely fine. Cool, good stuff. Where it becomes a problem is when you get a bit spicy with it, because then you are if you're sexualizing, say, a female protagonist that you're trying to highlight, then you are objectifying the thing that you're trying to bring attention to. And thus, that goes against representing, say, women being equal to men and such. I hope that makes sense. Why I feel that way. I just don't think it's a good mesh. I don't think it's a good look for whatever you're trying to make. Unless there is a purpose. I will say, another thing I think I failed to get across my previous vision is sexualization of characters, when it's not done in a fan servicey way, and when it's done in an actual relevant way, I think that can actually work. Sexualizing with purpose. You can get away with anything as long as you do it with purpose, and as long as there is integrity, and it makes sense to your story or whatever you're trying to make. Say, for example, a character in the spotlight is sexualized because they have a history of being quite crude, or because they're maybe they're being forced to be that way, for example, or they've had some sort of history that has led to them being that way. As long as you then go ahead with that and you keep it earnest, keep it genuine, you don't shy away from the truth. You know, they're crude, yucky, they can be a bit horny, penis, penis. You know, they can do all that. But as long as it, of course, comes to a head and solves itself and you deliver whatever message you're trying to go for. Sexualization can work, and it can work when you're highlighting minorities and such, or trying to be progressive. It's just in most cases, they don't tend to have purpose, and thus it's, as I said, in my opinion, counterintuitive, and just... It's like, what's the point? It just kind of feels like you're faking... Got sent to the void. I got struck down for that take. It just feels disingenuous. in my opinion. So yeah, do things with purpose, don't just do them for the sake of them. Again, I'm sorry my previous video on this, if you're a viewer of the original one, I'm sorry it was complete dog shit. I hope this has been more clear and just more straight to the point, okay? Keep creating, keep making stuff, and again, do things with purpose. That's all I ask.